we're going to take a look at some weapon-mounted lights from SUREFIRE, one of our S12 sponsors. A couple things I think we need to think about off the bat. Lumens, got those listed for these lights. Lumens is a measure of light output. One other thing that we want to think about is the type of beam. You're going to notice that some have a very tight spot and some open up and just wash the whole space. For example, this XH35 is the brightest light on the table at 1,000 lumens, but it has a very large, wide beam. On the other hand, the 400 is a much tighter beam. The X400 Ultra, this is white light max output, 600 lumens, tactical runtime 1.75 hours. This unit has the red laser. Next up, X300V. This is 150 lumens, 1.8 hours tactical, and then IR. So this is the IR. That's what the V stands for, 8 hours on IR. This guy right here is the XH15. This light was designed for SUREFIRE's holster system that turns the light on when drawn. We actually have that. We'll do another video on it. 350 lumens, 1 hour, 15-minute runtime. Next up, the XH35. This big bad boy is 1,000 lumens on high, 300 lumens on low. It's got a strobe switch and a high and low switch, so you set that before holstering up. Next one up is the X300 Ultra, 500 lumens, and total runtime, tactical runtime, 1.5 hours. Next is the XC1. This is the original A version, 200 lumens, and these two guys here use a single AAA battery. This is the B version, Bravo. This now is boosted up to 300 lumens. So, very, very simple, tiny little light, very good for inside the waistband carry where you don't have to hide these larger lights. Trade-off is lower lumens. Then my pocket carry, this is the EDCL1-T. They make a little bit larger light than this. I like this one because it really just hides in my pocket well, but there is an upgraded version of this. This little guy with a single 123 battery at max battery power puts out 500 lumens. It's also got two light settings, low, high, and it's just lots of pressure, little bit of pressure. Pretty sweet little light. We'll put a couple of these on a pistol and we'll engage probably the steel at 10 or so yards just so we can see the difference of how these beams spread on the range here. Let's check it out. All right, you're not going to be able to see a lot of me until I turn lights on. I want to run down the list, same lights we just showed you. We've got a target 10 yards away. We've got a piece of steel that we're going to shoot at in a moment, and we've got a piece of cardboard that we wrote on for threat identification. Right now I've got the X400 Ultra. The X400 Ultra is the light that has light, laser, or just light, or just laser. Right now I've got the red laser turned on, so this is the X400 Ultra with the red laser. So when I activate this, you're going to see red laser and a light. Things I want you to think about are as if you were having to identify a threat at 10 yards, which is what we're at, and we've got almost zero ambient light in here. We've got a little bit of very dim light, something like you might find in a dark parking lot or a dimly lit building. So could you place shots on a target with this amount of light? And is this light enough at this distance to possibly blind an attacker so that they can't see you to engage? Let's see what this looks like. So we've got a pretty tight beam pattern. We've got our steel. This says, Daddy, don't shoot me, right? Daddy, don't shoot me. You've got that laser, and you've got a pretty tight pattern with this 600 lumen light. Now we're going to jump down to the V now. This is the V, the 300V. This is IR. IR, if you guys want to do some research on this, if you had night vision, this is the light that you'd want. So now check this out, 150 lumens. Ooh, look, a lot dimmer. Remember, this is set up for somebody using night vision. So again, check that out. We're going to jump down to the next one here. This is the 350 lumen X15, 350 lumen. Again, watch for how big this decides to spread. Wow, look at that. So this 350 lumens, but it's very, very wide. So you're not having that concentration of light. I still can see Daddy, don't shoot me, but it's not nearly the amount of light as this first one that we looked at. Bam! And that's bright and it's focused. Next up, the X35H. This is the brightest light that we've got here today at 1,000 lumens. Again, look for the width of the beam at 10 yards. So that is a room brightening light. So you've got a lot of width here, a lot of width. 1,000 lumens, that really fills a room. So if you think about what colors are in houses, in most buildings are lighter colors. We've got the white that we're using here in the range, the plastic board to bounce light around. Think about what happens in a hallway or a painted room. You really fill that full of light quickly. This is the 1,000 lumen XH35, pardon me. Next up is the X300 Ultra. Let's see what that guy looks like. Here we go. Bam, very bright light, 500 lumens. Very similar beam pattern to the X400 Ultra, the first one that we looked at. Let's see that guy again. That's 600 lumens. That's 500 lumens. And I'm going to say that this is actually a slightly tighter beam. That's the X300 Ultra versus the 400. Maybe it's not any tighter, it's hard to tell. But you can see the one on the left that I'm putting on the steel, 600 lumens, right hand 500 lumens. You can see the slight difference. And as we're playing with these now, we are killing battery life, so it's diminishing. Daddy, don't shoot me. Now we've got our XC1. These are the little guys that run off of one AAA battery. So this is the alpha version. This is the original version that came out a few years ago. So we've got this wide wash of light, 200 lumens, fills the room up. I can identify what's out there, but this is not that bright, penetrating, piercing light. Very wide wash. We're going to go to the Bravo version. Bravo version. So this is the one that just came out this past year. You can see a marked difference. That's 300 lumens. I'm going to show you one next to the other. So first one, alpha. Second one, Bravo. Alpha, Bravo. Alpha, Bravo. Definitely a big difference that 100 lumens makes, doesn't it? Alpha, Bravo. Alpha, Bravo. Just for the heck of it, I want to show you a comparison of these weapon-mounted lights to a handheld. So this is the SUREFIRE EDCL1-T 500 lumen single 123A. That's a nice beam width. It's not as tight as, say, the X400. That's a pretty tight light in comparison. So there's the Ultra, there's the handheld. We're going to compare two 500 lumen lights. I know I'm tossing a lot of names and numbers out here, but what I want you guys to be able to do is as you're shopping, there's the handheld, there's the weapon mount. There's the handheld, there's the weapon mount. What I want you to be able to think about is when you're buying it and you're reading these numbers, what does it mean downrange? What does it mean as you're going to point these lights down a hallway? I'm going to strap the X400 Ultra to my trusty Wilson Combat Beretta, and we're going to run a few rounds downrange, and we're going to see what that looks like in these diminished conditions. Look at my ears. Okay, so we're at 10 yards. We've got a couple targets down there. One of them we know is family, one we know is foe. It's been a break-in. I run downstairs. Show me your hands. Daddy, don't shoot me. You get on the ground, drop the weapon. Do it one more time. Daddy, don't shoot me. You show me your hands, drop the weapon. So that worked. I was able to read and see the threat. Now, let's see if we can deal with maybe a hostage situation. We've got that head swinger played out there. Show me your hands, show me your hands. Daddy, don't shoot me. Oh, hey, back off. Dude, don't do it. Daddy, don't shoot me. Get on the ground, son. You back away from her. Drop the weapon. Drop the weapon. Drop it. Son, back up. Get away from her. Grab your mom. Shoot him one more time. Last two are just for fun. These things are not search tools. If you are a SWAT cop, yes, it's a search tool. Don't hear a noise at night and go walking around your house pointing this everywhere you go, okay? And then one thing I want you guys to keep in mind as you're out shopping for this stuff, lumens are a measure of light with a brand new battery. The thing about an electrical appliance is in an LED, that starts tapering off immediately. So it might be 600 lumens and then the battery starts to die and it's 590, 580, so on and so forth. When you're using a light like this, the nice thing I like about these, all of them except the XC series run on 123A lithium batteries. So you might only get an hour or two of runtime out of these. These are not meant for navigating in the woods and playing in the park. They're meant for a very specific task, illuminating targets, blinding targets, and being able to identify threats. These lights, I know one person in that room, maybe more is my family member. Show me your hands! Daddy, don't shoot me! Oh my God! I didn't like what I just said. Hey, who's out there? Daddy, don't shoot me! Who are you? What you possibly needed to... Away from her. Back up. Damn it, I shot, Drew. I keep missing that shot. Drew, why am I missing? Threat. Keep in mind, we're not using flashlights to that.